customized analytics data.
Let's talk about the Warcraft Netflix series. It's going to happen. I'm only 98.73% sure it's gonna come out before 2028. And the last 1.27% is the Microsoft money that nobody knows where it will go first. Why am I so sure? Well, it was not only hinted and indirectly confirmed by higher-ups at Blizz in an earlier interview, but the successes of some video game adaptations have been so great that the biggest video game of all time, that's not Pokemon, makes the logical next step. And speaking of Pokemon, although the adaptation from the game was an anime, it also spawned a live action movie, which was cute, sure, but all of this made them so much money.
Netflix series. A recent leak about Warcraft series coming to Netflix. Apparently, Warcraft Chronicles, debuting in 2024, has been making rounds on the internet.
Oh, so this was leaked prior to...
That it's still surprising we are not flooded with Pikachu paraphernalia every time I try to buy a pretzel at the local kiosk. That aside, the most recent success story has to be that of Super Mario Bros. Movie that released earlier this year. Not only was the movie so good, but it was so Super Mario. The acting, the feeling, the animation, the singing, it was like re-experiencing my childhood before my dad left for milk. All over again. And the biggest win for the movie is that it rebooted, rebranded, reinvigorated, redeemed whatever steaming pile of Bowser leftover this was.
Hey, hold up. The movie rocks, dude. That movie is awesome.
Yeesh. That precedent will work well if we have to think of the Warcraft movie, which was planned to be a first in a trilogy. And the Warcraft movie wasn't even bad. It just did.
Cat.
Let's talk about again. And the biggest season proved that live action adaptations can be
still want this human person as I would take him as Arthas or even Varian, really. Like with that hair, are you kidding? You wouldn't want. I mean, I know the thing is to have him as Arthas, and I want that too. But I wouldn't hate to see him as Varian. You know.
Super successful, even when the main dude is played by a pretty boy that doesn't match the character at all. Remember when we trashed Cavill for not being girly enough? And still, The Witcher, the first season, was one of the best examples of video games.
I feel like now that he's not Superman anymore, which is a bummer, with him to go, because he left Witcher, right? Although that might leave him a Cavill first broke the news that he'd be replaced in the series title role by Liam Hemsworth in an Instagram post. But while everyone involved with The Witcher has been gracious about Cavill's departure, there are plenty of unanswered questions. But the actor's behind-the-scenes maneuvering to make his longtime passion project, Black Adam, the center Warner Brothers DC Extended Universe, did leave Cavill in an awkward spot. On the press tour for 2022's Black Adam, Johnson all but admitted that his real dream was starring in a Black Adam versus Superman movie opposite Cavill, who hadn't played the character since 2017. With a teaser that clearly laid the groundwork, but later reports revealed that Johnson had to fight hard for it, even going over the head of then DC Films head Walter Hamada, who already vetoed a Cavill cameo. Shortly after Black Adam premiered, Cavill announced his return. So I'm pretty sure that it was, I thought it was that, because he was going to go back to Superman, which means he got dicked over.
Having
hard,
a proper live-action adaptation on the small screens, and Netflix to boot. Well, video games, and in Witcher's case, books as well. But it gets better. Castlevania proved you can take an even more obscure title and have it be incredibly well done, with a proper amount of gore, violence, and character sarcastic wit and banter. And not only unironically amazing, but actually successful. Yeah, Castlevania was a proper success story of putting out a show about a video game arguably less known than World of Warcraft, albeit with the Dracula theme that did some heavy lifting for its appeal. And I think this is just about the right time before some people start to lose their marbles for not talking about it as well. But Arcane is the big fish, the good example that everyone keeps using again and again and again of how you can take a popular game with close to no lore outside character bios, a questionably designed website, and who knows what other, I didn't know they also did this, mediums that tell some story about some character published out there, whatever. With Arcane's success, we can ride the it can be done horse for quite a while when it comes to the almost confirmed Warcraft Netflix series. And it was almost confirmed. Earlier this year, IGN conducted an interview with Holly Longdale and John Haidt, and there were a non-singular amount of questions regarding a potential Netflix series for WoW. This leads me to believe that the topic was planned to be approached because in all of the interviews, whenever a subject that was considered tangent was approached, it received a maximum of one question with a relatively vague political answer of, you never know. Whether past interviewers approached this same topic or player housing, community perception, Bobby Kotick's new nail clipper, the line of questioning never actually developed into a line and instead remained a clear and predictable period like the one my ex-girlfriend got when we were still never mind. Not only was this not the case with the Warcraft Netflix topic, but we got some interesting doses of copium and actual justifications as to why it will happen now more than ever before. The interviewer went on to say, can we see Warcraft expand out into multimedia, into shows, into movies again? To which John Haidt had to say,
well, are we going to see Warcraft expand out into multimedia, into shows, into movies again? It's been, 2016 since the movie came out.
That was one of the big reasons that we've somewhat reorganized as, a Warcraft universe. So Holly's part of the leadership team for that. So not just overseeing WoW, that's her, her baby, but also contributes to some of the strategic decisions that we have around where do we want to go next.
Where should they go next? That should, of course, mean anything. Anything is possible. As far as the game has progressed, WoW has actually came a long way and did things we didn't think they could do or would do. Remember J. Allen Brack? Sorry, buddy. Bringing you up again because I need to make a point. I know it might suck for you. But Brack essentially addressed the WoW Classic idea as something that's never going to happen and something we won't even want to have happen. Well, that didn't really age well.
Idiot.
We got Classic, we also got TBC, Wrath, and soon Kata Classic. And the development for the never going to happen and you don't want it idea went even lateral with hardcore WoW and Seasons of Discovery. There is nothing you can realistically say about WoW that cannot happen. Card game, full-fledged mobile game.
All I had to see was the rune thing. I want to play mage now.
MOBA, and who knows, maybe console port for WoW is on the horizon after the Microsoft acquisition. But that's talking about what the game will get. What about the Netflix series? John Haidt mentioned that we have a full green light process, aka budget, for Warcraft. One of the reasons...
The idea of Chris being back, makes a lot of sense for... Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Why Chris is back is to make sure we stay consistent with the Warcraft universe across all projects. He's basically there to say, this is in, this is out. This means project as in games, but more than that, because he also went out to say,
You know, we start with games, we are going to expand beyond that.
in a world with Netflix's Witcher, Arcane, Castlevania, the only
I bet we don't see anything until War Within, right? War Within an announcement. So, assuming War Within releases, I was gonna say it would release prior to BlizzCon, but I'm guessing they will announce a hard release date at BlizzCon, depending on the dates of BlizzCon, which is probably going to be like the first week of November, which means we'll probably see War Within, assuming they don't do what Blizzard typically does and delay it again. Might be, to be optimistic, I'm going to say like January of 2025 for War Within. I know they say, I mean, I could be wrong. I hope I am, and we get it, late 2024. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see some kind of an announcement if this is really happening during War Within, assuming it is popular, right? Like assuming it kind of is this big return to form for WoW that, with Chris Metzen, hopefully that's where it goes. Hopefully that's where it goes. And then we see an announcement for a TV
logical
show.
place beyond gaming with a gaming IP is a TV series. It's only logical. Will we finally get that Arthas season people wanted? Maybe, but that's the boring version of what the Warcraft Netflix series can be. The more interesting version is to tell it side by side with the upcoming stories. Stories that are planned years ahead, expansions ahead.
I don't think a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing that. I think people are going to want to see
World Soul
the Arthas
Saga.
storyline.
Depending on how they play this, they can literally tell the actual canon
Or
WoW
both.
story.
Or both, right? Like nobody wants to see, especially like everybody for the past 20 years wanting an Arthas storyline, right? And to see just like, random Warcraft Chronicles. I'm not against it. I just feel like I think a lot of people are going to want to see the Arthas stuff or, Warcraft 3, whatever, before we get to that kind of stuff. But that's just me. It's just me.